I still can't get over our title sequence. It makes you feel so good. It's like gods are rising from the ground whilst that music's going in. Guys, welcome to a Legends of Tomorrow after show here at thestream.tv. As you know, Jack Hind here, and I have a new guest. Well, not a new guest, a new seat person. A seat person.
Right.
That is what you are.
I don't even have a name. I'm just
a
seat person. I'm the placeholder.
Guys, Rory, this is Rory Ross. Say hello, Rory. Say
How's it going, guys?
To the people.
Don't worry, I don't have a flamethrower. I'm much more peaceful.
He's on a pyro, so we're all
says.
good. Hopefully
So he
stuff doesn't
says.
start. And his first name is Rory.
We don't know
But
this
his
guy.
last name.
He could have a flamethrower hidden somewhere. I'm just
Secrets,
saying.
you know.
Just saying.
I don't know.
I don't trust him.
What an incredible episode. I mean, the space fight for a start, we finally got to see a serious space fight. Absolutely genius. The way they traveled, jumped into the time zone. Again, we got Stargate references coming in. We had Star Trek references. We had Star Wars over here. It was going everywhere. But first things first, and one of my most important parts about this episode was the backstory that we finally got on Rip.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you, writers, for giving us a little bit more about Rip.
Finally.
It's taken us long enough. Tatiana was starting to not like the guy.
I know, I really was. I really
But
was.
thank you guys, you changed his mind. So Rip Hunter, as we can tell, that opening sequence for a start, with him listening to the video recordings from his wife and his son.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
I had a tear.
Heartbreaking.
I had a couple tears, I'm not gonna lie.
Like instantly, I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I do like you."
Right.
Like
No, so that was it. That was what
yeah,
made
that started to get me on the train.
Because this episode truly showed that. Well, I wrote it's overview of the episode. Love changes everything and everyone.
Yeah.
And that pretty
Aw.
much was it, right?
This is my episode, guys. Remember last time I was like, I'm all about positivity, and this is about love. This is my episode.
It's great the way they managed. They really got such an action-packed episode, along with a truly emotional episode in this as well. So again, Legends of Tomorrow riders, well played. So with the Time Council, it was nice to learn about Rip and his wife actually training to become Time Masters together. But as they know, they weren't allowed to be friends. Weren't allowed to be in a relationship. So my question is, do you think Rip's wife made the right choice in pulling herself out of this and giving Rip the go-ahead to go and do what it was always his childhood dream?
Yes.
Yeah? You glad it
Yes.
was Rip? I'd have liked to have seen her become the captain
I
instead.
mean, it would have been cool, but at the
I'd like to see
same
that in
time,
like an alternate timeline kind of thing. If we
That
start
would be
like
interesting.
Flashpoint in this
Yeah.
right
That would
now,
be
and then we get
interesting.
the opposites of that happening.
That would be great. I mean, for me, the whole time I was thinking of Anakin and Padme. I went total Star Wars of like this whole like, oh, you know, we both have these jobs that we're supposed to be very, you know, we're not supposed to be doing any dirty. And instead, you know, she decides to actually say, okay, I'm going to take this up on myself, and I'm going to allow you to do what you really want to do. But come on, she was more of the kick-ass pilot.
Exactly.
Like she had
that
like
instinct.
things going down, and then he stole a play out of her book.
but she wants more. Like she wants
She knew-
more,
yeah.
and that's why I
He's
love.
still so good. I mean, you two right now, it's just so great. These two are like the perfect counterpart to each other. He's like, yeah, Star Wars, they were going for it. She's like, but it's all about love.
Because if you want a woman, I mean, not all women, okay, but from a woman's perspective, or my perspective,
You are a woman.
thank you. I
You-
didn't
in
know.
case you didn't know.
What? I loved it because she found love, and a lot of women and men, but a lot of women have this nurturing sense about them, and so she found her nurturing sense. She wanted to be with Rip, and she wanted to be with him in a loving way, and I
she
love
knew
that.
she wanted love more than she wanted to be a
Yes,
time master.
yes.
And I don't want to say he wanted to be a time master more than love, because clearly that isn't true. But
Right.
she knew that from the get-go, like she even said, it's been your dream to become a time master. So I'm
But
with you there.
relationships are about give and take.
Oh,
You know, it
okay.
is about give and take, and sometimes sacrifice. And so in this case, she thought that love was
Was the ultimate. Well, being a time master was the ultimate
I mean-
sacrifice
Right.
for love this time,
Yeah.
right? Guys, what do you think? Would you give up becoming a time master just for love? I mean, I'm on the
I
Time
would.
Master page right now, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie to
yeah.
you, because if I was a Time Master, I could go find love in the 1920s, I'd go find love in the 2020s.
Are you
I
saying,
could
are
go
you saying you'd
1,000
have
years.
multiple loves? Is this what I'm
But the
hearing?
thing is,
This is
okay?
what I'm hearing.
Right, so this is how I'm going to plan this out right now. So technically, it wouldn't be unfaithful because it would be in different time zones. So technically, the lady before, this is like the whole hot tub time machine, guys, brilliant movie, kind of scenario. She's 9, it's okay, like she's not your wife. So that's how I would choose being a time master.
No, wait, wouldn't it be all okay too? Because the timelines are technically in flux.
exactly.
So as long as they haven't been solidified, I'm not
really stepping on anybody's toes.
These guys are team no love. So
we were both single for Valentine's Day.
We were looking at finding love in all of the decades instead of only finding love once.
What about your soulmate? Huh?
There's soulmates in each century. I mean, you can just keep going down. And you'll be fine.
Whatever.
So as we do know,
I'm team love.
Rip was the great Rip Hunter. And that title very much so got taken away from him. And we got this when obviously he met Eve Baxter. Guys, if you know if Eve, well, that's Rip right there. Eve's the lady that will come up right afterwards. Guys, if you have any references to Eve Baxter, if you know where Eve Baxter possibly came from, you said yourself that the name meant nothing to you after you looked it up a little, did a little bit more research as well. So if you guys do know if an Eve Baxter was prominent in any of the universes, feel free to hit us up. YouTube, Twitter, everything. We're live on it right now. Guys, that's it for Rip Hunter at the moment. Oh, the one cool thing that we did spot out. What do the Time Masters must never do, besides being in a relationship? Go by their real names. And Rory, you really picked up on that, and you said that was a really interesting thought.
So the reason that they decide, or they state that we can't go by our real names is if someone knows your name, now they can go in the past, the present, and the future, and either A, attack your family, but what I think would be even smarter is manipulate you. Because if they were to attack your family, then you would no longer be born. But if they just manipulated the people that you loved and you knew about it, then they can take you and take your ship.
Actually use you and do
and
you
actually
that way.
use you beneficially rather than like, oh, okay, well.
Just cutting it off and then just destroying the bloodline from there down.
Right, exactly.
You'd be a horrible type. Like, this guy is, I feel like Rory would be the one who gets that power and then kind of turns to the dark side.
Like I said,
you're definitely a dark side kind of guy.
I got a little, okay, I'll just say my Xbox Live name's Darth Rollis, and there's a reason for that, you know.
Darth Rollis?
Yeah. So I've always been a Star Wars guy, but I always knew, like you said, I have like this dark side. It hasn't really come out yet. I'm waiting for my mid-40s, then maybe it's gonna happen there.
Mid-40s?
The midlife crisis is gonna
What's
just like.
significant about the mid-40s?
You know, I just feel like it's just gonna like happen, and I'll be like, okay, I knew
Is
this
that
was
like
gonna
the
happen all along.
midlife crisis?
Yeah, exactly.
arena, and
I'm
that's
just gonna
why-
turn
Some
into
people
Darth
buy a
Vader or
Corvette,
something.
you're going to just become
I'm gonna have
Darth Vader.
my breathing mask. That's basically what's gonna happen. Just that's
I told
my.
you guys, when he sat on the couch, I didn't trust him. So I'm just going to reiterate that because he wants to go through a midlife crisis.
Right,
just
taking the
Stewie.
time capsule is what we saw. Another thing that interested us was the time pirates. For starters, what on earth are time pirates? It's kind of like a second-rate villain with like, we're going to put them as. But at the same time, I feel like they've caused the Time Masters themselves tons of hassle. They must do. They're time pirates. Like Eve Baxter, you're just constantly getting your ship mangled. So kind of Pirates of the Caribbean reference we've got going on right now. But like the way we said, where do we think the Time Pirates came from? Rory's and my suggestion was that they tried to originally become parts of the Time Masters or the Time Council, and they either did wrong, they got into relationships like they're not meant to, they were rejected, kind of like the University of the Time Masters, and then that's what made them go rogue.
Right.
And that's why now they're traveling the universe, traveling to the timeline, trying to steal all the different time machines. What do you guys think? Do you think the Time Pirates were just a band of guys that kind of formed together, that were just kind of like, right, we know people are out there with time machines, we want time machines, we're going to go F it up in the timeline right now. But what do you both think?
Yeah, I mean, well, like I originally thought was that these guys were just rejected time masters. They were just like in class, and then either they ended up making out with someone, so then they got banished.
Discharged.
They were trying to look for love in all the right centuries, or they could have done plenty of things wrong. But I feel like an angsty teenager where they just decided, okay, screw it, I don't need to do this. I'm just gonna make your guys' life hell, and then go off.
How did they get to Eve Baxter? That's what I want to know. They're in deep space, right? Which
Deep space.
Tatiana caught that reference right there. So are we going to say that the Time Pirates obviously they have a spaceship, but they don't have a time traveling spaceship? So what they do is they go into space, they'll hopefully find a time machine like, what was this one called? The Acronon?
The Acronon, yeah.
Acronon? I've got it written down.
That's right.
Acheron.
Oh.
Acheron. I knew it. See, that's why I got my notes over here. They're so handy, so I don't mess things like that up. And obviously we have the Wave Rider as well. So what I want to know is how many more different time machines are we going to see? Wave Riders, Acherons are we going to get? And also, John brought up a little while, well, actually in our first episode, where the Wave Rider name came from. So guys, if you have any inclination of where the Acheron name for the spaceship came from, please let us know over on the YouTube chat, over on the Twitter chat, and everything that we've got. whilst we're talking about deep space, and use the hashtag Lotus, thank you, Nick. You're a star. Obviously, guys, whilst we're talking about deep space, what was it, Deep Space Nine that you caught up?
Well, she said, let's go into deep space. And
Yeah,
and
that was
There's
when
quite
we
a few
got the Stargate zoom,
Yeah.
weren't it? When it zoomed straight, and
It was basically any sci-fi where like there's gonna be some kind of portal they're going through. It was like Stargate was one I thought of, and then of course in
Star Trek.
Star Wars you have the hyperspace.
Yeah,
and then
pretty much
and
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
Too,
It's just
Right, so
all of them.
I caught 3, and my favourite 3 were Martin Stein. Like I said, guys, we're only doing this. I think Tatiana caught one as well, and Rory here called a couple. I almost called you Mick. That was weird. It was really weird.
I just have a new personality that's gonna happen throughout this show. Next time you see me, I'm just gonna be over
He's
here.
gonna have a flamethrower gun. He's gonna be
Going
probably about 100 pounds heavier before he hits Dominic Purcell.
Yeah, I got a few.
Big dude.
Yeah.
But like I said, my favourite 3 were Martin Stein, Great Scott, genius, right? Ray thinking he's Captain Kirk, but then thinking he's Han Solo, but then thinking he's Captain Picard. Who do you want to be, Ray? Who do you want to be?
Let me just point out that when everybody was in distress, and Kendra, and he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be, what do you say, Captain Kirk? I'm
Captain-
Kirk."
Yeah.
And she was like, like, what?
you doing,
Our
dude?
entire team is in peril,
like a kid
and you're
in a
like,
candy
who
shop.
am I gonna be?
yeah.
I was like,
Get
it's a
out of
total
that chair
turn off.
once, did it? And then when it was like, what was it? Acting Captain Palmer, wasn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
when I speak to
I'm
acting
acting
Captain Palmer. He's like, oh, I like the sound of
But
that.
that totally falls in line with his like Boy Scout,
Yes.
Yeah.
persona
Superman,
that
yeah.
he has,
Right.
super newbie.
And on top of that, there's like a little tidbit is that Brandon Routh is actually from Iowa, which I am also from Iowa. So Iowa Hawkeyes. I know no one else is clapping. That's okay. But
Maybe somebody is.
we're the few and the proud. Okay. But Captain Kirk, as some the Star Trek fans know, he was also born in Iowa. So there was that little tidbit right there, that like a little callback back to Iowa. Whether or not the Rowdiers tried to do that or not on purpose, I don't know. But I was like,
So we're repping Iowa.
Yeah, I was like, all right,
There we go.
all
We've got Captain
Cool.
Kirk, Rory, and Ray Palmer all coming from Iowa.
Yeah.
So go out, guys.
Sounds
If we've got
like-
any Iowa people watching us right now, give Rory a shout out and say what's up to Rory. But anyone think Stein was a space ranger? He was perfect. Let's see that
Oh,
photo of Stein right now.
loved him.
With his little hat on
I
after he
loved
beat the
him.
The little
guys up.
beret, the little
His
beret,
little
it was
beret and
perfect,
his
it was
gun.
perfect, yeah.
Every part, the way he was sneaking around this ship, Stein. You were an absolute legend this episode.
At first,
and
I
used
thought
the
he was
word
gonna.
legend
At
there.
first, I thought he was gonna mess it up, like
Who,
royally
Stein?
screw
oh
it
yeah,
up.
well, because he's been messing up everything. Like
Right.
when he was trying
Good-hearted.
the Palmer and like see how the relationship was between him and Hawk Girl, and was like, like, do you think you like her at all? And he's like, well, no, I don't. And then all of a sudden Palmer goes and decides, well,
He kind of
maybe
make aware of
I
it.
do like her, and like poor
Which?
partner.
The only thing,
Like,
sorry,
yeah.
what was you about to say?
No,
Lisa?
it's further down the line.
Oh, okay.
So I-
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, my God.
But one thing I do want to know is, how did Stein let him out of the room? Because they were in that what did they call it? A dig or dugger? Oh, I can't remember what they called it. But whatever that little room is that Rip,
Where they were
Jax,
imprisoned?
Rory in prison. That's the word I'm looking for. When they were in prison, Stein just managed to open that door. But when the pirates closed it, he had a little clicker in his hand.
Is that what it was?
Right? I
thought he
noticed that
like
as well.
touched something in midair and then.
See, it looked,
just,
because he just put his hand up and did that
Yeah.
in front of the door, and then it
That's what I was
closed. And
curious.
so I was thinking, but
Oh.
then when I saw him do it when they picked up Rory, the guy with the blacker hair, he wasn't John, John Valor, who was the main pirate. He was his what are they called? What's
Right-hand
the pirates? What's the pirates?
First mate.
First mate. Thank you
first
very
mate,
much.
yeah, there you go.
Cheers, honey.
I know
That's why
my
Tatiana's
my
here for us.
pirateness.
Yeah, he's the one that looked like he clicked something. So when
Yeah.
Stein opened it, I was like,
You know how he tackled that guard?
Stein.
Stein, yeah. When he tackled the
Yeah.
guard, I bet you the guard had one, and he took it from him. That's what I think.
Go Tatiana. Also, how did Stein do that? He goes, now you know not to mess with a nuclear physicist?
Because he put on his like space ranger attire or personality, and then just like went
I just
for it.
managed to kick a pirate's
He
ass.
was amazing. Yeah,
Like
because
60-year-old Stein.
He took-
For real?
But he's kicked other people's asses. It's not like he's never stood up for himself. He
Could this be
Okay.
his like
Element
superpower
of
where like
surprise.
he's having the nuclear scientist, like how Hawk Girl, she has all this goddess trapped into her.
Right.
What if Stein has
nuclear
like the nuclear
physicist trapped
physicist who's
inside
like
of him.
never got any attention, and it's like coming out like I wanted to show this to school.
One
And
thing
then
I
just,
would like to know, if possibly, I know Jax and Stein share obviously thoughts and share feelings very often. Is there any way they could kind of share each other's characteristics to a point? So maybe Jax starts becoming more logical, kind of getting a bit smarter into his approach. Or do you think that's just them teaching each other? Maybe Stein's picking up his youth a little bit, and maybe he's learning how to fight a little bit now because obviously Jax is his youth and his body, Stein's the brains and logic, so why not learn off each other?
I think they're just learning. I don't think
Yeah.
they share it.
That would be cool.
They just share emotion, like they can feel
And
each
they can
other's
feel
stuff.
each
But
other.
I don't think that they.
That'd be
they share
interesting,
that.
though.
It would
Right,
be interesting.
let's go into the meat of this episode, though. Let's just say that. Right, the two teams. We're going to start off with obviously Rip, Rory, and Jax, and Stein sneaking onto the ship. For starters, do you think that was the best team to go and board the other ship? Do you think that was the best choices to take? In my personal opinion, Sarah is the one that you need to take with you when it goes to boarding a trip.
Oh, yeah.
Jax, why?
Maybe
Why?
because he's always left behind on the action. He's always the one that's like,
So you
stay
just
here,
felt
Jax.
bad for him.
I think they felt bad, and they were like, go ahead, come on this one.
Right.
No, the reason I was thinking it was possibly Jax is because they needed to get the jump drive, and obviously Jax has become quite a mechanic on the
Yeah.
ship.
All
So
right.
I feel like
I missed
that's
that.
possibly the reason as to why they took him. But besides that, he wasn't useful whatsoever. Can't.
Well,
like,
he
he's not much of
tried.
a fighter.
I mean, he tried.
In what way? Oh, he tried to open the door.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I mean, we know it didn't work out, but at least he tried. You got to give him credit for that. I mean, they brought him along. He wants to prove himself. He can do it.
Right.
What about when Rip went in on Rory? Because this obviously was a turning point for Rory, especially with last episode with Snart turning on him a little bit and Snart having to knock him out and put him in his place. And then we have Rip ripping him a new asshole. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I apologise.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse my French. But damn, I mean, obviously Rory has the brute and the physicality on Rip. But the way he spoke to him, like
think
he
it's-
implied that he didn't even want him as part of the team.
He was just collateral damage, basically.
Yeah,
saying
like,
that, like,
I
hey,
wanted
if-
Snart because he's the brains, but then
Right.
I got a double package.
But I think he said all that because this is all pent up frustration from Rip. I mean, you got to hand it to him. Like, he's put up with Rory and messing up and
Yeah,
going
right.
off and wanting to stay in 2046 and like all kinds of stuff. And this time he was being so negative.
He was
like, you know what? Shut up.
Yeah.
we are going to shout, shut up!
Shut up.
Right.
But we've got to remember, Rip did become quite a bodyguard almost a couple episodes ago. Rip was becoming the kind of guy where it was like, right, if I need to go into a dark space, I'm putting Rory in front of me. Because I know that Rory can take a punch, Rory can throw a punch, and Rory gave Sarah a run for her money. And I'm sorry,
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
think anyone
Me
could
neither.
give Sarah a
Remember
run
we
for
talked
her
about
money.
this. We were like,
exactly.
who can
Yeah,
take who? And
she's Legends of Assassins.
I
right
know,
there. Like,
that's
she
what we
has
were
so much
saying.
training, like, and he was tossing her around like a rag doll.
yeah.
Leagues of Assassins. You said
League
that.
of Assa- oh, yeah,
Legends
yeah.
of Tomorrow.
Right.
When he
Legends of Assassins.
when he
I'm like, oh,
hit
no.
her,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like-
she was like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we were all took back for a
I
second.
was like, I didn't expect it. I was expecting some like jabs to the
Right.
to
you know,
like hold her a little
he
bit.
was full on like boom.
But like
I
you
was
say, the
like,
fact of the matter is, I know obviously the way is to never hit a woman and 100% never ever hit a woman.
that doesn't apply in.
But with a
hero
lady
world.
of her stature, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
a lady of her stature.
Yeah.
Like to be honest, I would say Sarah should never hit a guy because she
Right.
would just destroy their face off.
True.
But
I
going away.
agree with you on
Sorry,
that.
what was you going to say?
No, I said I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Now we are talking about Sarah, and we obviously had Rip going into it there. Sarah, well, let's take, actually, we're going to save Sarah and Start a little bit. First of all, we're going to turn into Rory turning.
Oh, yeah.
I'm upset Rory turned. I really thought, I actually thought that Rip was going into him so that he could kind of get his blood boiling a little bit, get Rory really going so that he could let him out to the pirates. And you know what Rory's like. Rory could take 3 or 4 of those pirates, no issue. So
Totally.
that was
Yeah,
where
he's
I was hoping he was going to go. But no, he turns and gives himself up. What do you think it is about Rory now that he's had enough of?
Well, his ultimate, his relationship with Snart.
You think that's the
That was
for
his
this?
breaking point.
Yeah.
I think because that's his only family
Yeah.
essentially, and they've been together for so long, and they've done so many heists
Right.
together, and like
Mate,
all kinds
it's
of stuff.
kind of upsetting, isn't it?
It's very upsetting.
I'm
It's
really
sad.
upset that that duo's gone. They were one of my favourite duos.
Well,
they
I
really
don't-
are the fire to each other's eyes.
I don't think it's gone forever.
Well, I
Yeah,
get to say that
right,
for
right.
now, that they're possibly gone.
And kudos to the writers, though, because they kept you guys guessing. Because I, at the beginning, when I watched the trailer, I thought for sure that Rory was going to turn because of the events with
Yes.
Snark in the previous episode. But you guys still had hope. You were like saying, okay, no, it's actually going to be, he's just, he needs
He's
that little
he's a
kick in the
double
ass.
agent. Yeah, I thought he
he
was
just needs a
double
kick in the
agent
ass, and then, he's going to prove himself. But that
'Cause we
wasn't,
hope
at
for him.
least at the end of what we saw, that was not what had happened. Because even when he brought in the space pirates and basically gave up the ship, he actually did try to attack the team. I mean, he shot his little
Yeah,
heat wave gun.
100%.
And
Shot
then
Sarah.
whatever. Yeah, and then
And
shot
he shot
Sarah,
Sarah
beat
when
the
they were
beat
fighting.
the
I couldn't
crap out of
believe
her.
it. I was like,
I'm really mad.
I just sat there like that.
Guys, what do you think?
Yeah.
Are you happy that Rory turned, or was you really looking forward to seeing Rory develop as almost turn into a bit of a good guy?
Who would be happy that Rory turned?
No. I said, are you going to be happy that Rory... did I say that? Are you happy that Rory turned?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for listening.
I was like,
I
why would
apologise.
you be happy
I didn't
for
mean that.
that?
Well,
Don't
some
be
people...
happy.
Some of them, I'm sure some of them enjoyed
about
that.
the team.
But you're right, it was all about the team. But anyways, are you happy that Rory turned, or are you not happy that Rory turned? Let's put it that way. Guys, now I want to go into, for starters, Sarah fighting Rory. That was a good shout. Rip, defending the ship. How did he get him out? How did he get him out? He uses the same method that his wife used in the simulation.
Great.
Oh, yeah,
Go,
yeah.
Rip to the,
Great.
like, brilliant. Absolutely genius job with him coming from there. And after saving the ship for Mrs. Baxter, what did you get, Rip? How to find out where Vandal Savage is. Guys, next episode, we're going to the 50s, so that's going to be tons of fun.
Oh, totally.
Right.
And you gotta make a mention of Rip's WWE fighting skills.
Yeah, that's
Like, I mean, come on. At the
what I
very
said.
end, like as a finishing song, he just like jumps up. He's like, oh, like takes him out. I was like,
Superman
okay,
I loved that.
all right. You know, he hasn't really done a lot, but to have that, I was like, okay, that's your moment, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Right, let's go to the shippers of the team. And when I say shippers, it's a possible relationship is coming out of this one. I mean,
So many people are upset that a relationship is happening.
oh, what, with
There's like
Kendra
two,
and
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
there's so many
So
people
it's
are
like-
like, this is stupid. I'm
So
like, it's
we'll
bound to happen.
do you want to go into Ray and Kendra? We'll do Ray
Okay.
and Kendra and then Sarah and Snot?
Okay.
Cool. So Ray and Kendra, what do you guys think? Because like you said, that's a lot, okay?
Yeah.
Carter didn't die too long ago. Even last episode, we were saying, like, you guys have a mission. Stop trying to muddy the waters right
Right.
now. Like, you guys have one thing to do, which is to save the world.
Right.
I like how
world.
you drew that.
The world.
The
This
world.
isn't as important as your love life.
Right.
Clearly, apparently. You know what they're trying to say right now? So what do you think? Should that kiss have happened?
What I was saying, this
it
is what
emotion?
I was. It's
Emotion.
Don't make fun of me.
It's emotion,
It's
isn't it?
emotion.
It's emotion.
No, what I was saying, because everybody was talking about this on the YouTube chat.
Yep.
And I was saying, you guys, it's bound to happen. You put guys and girls in a ship for how long, and you don't think anybody's gonna hit on anybody or anybody's gonna kiss on anybody? Like, it's bound to happen.
I'm seriously surprised. I was really hoping Jax was going to get with Kendra.
Okay, but how old is Jax and how old is Kendra?
Jax is 23, Kendra's about the same, technically.
She's the same?
like-
She's
Ken-
23.
Yeah, Kendra's not old at all, because Kendra was, she was a barista, weren't she?
Yeah.
And she was with
Like
Cisco,
Cisco,
for a
yeah.
second.
All right,
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
Cisco's
well,
not
what about
much older
Cisco?
either.
I mean,
hold on.
You can't bring in Cisco. I mean,
Yeah,
come
no.
on, like.
What about Ray? I think Ray's way older than Kendra and Jay. Ray's got to be, what, let's say 30 now?
Yeah.
He's probably up there. I mean,
Yeah,
because then he
28, 'cause
graduated
was
from
with
college,
Felicity.
and then
yeah,
he did
exactly.
everything
He's like
else,
Felicity. I was going to say Stephen. He's Felicity Oliver's age, pretty
Right.
much. So I'd put that up at about 28, 30. Guys,
Okay.
what do you think? Would you have liked to see Kendra and Ray? Would you have liked to see Kendra and Jax? Or would you have liked to just see none of it whatsoever? But obviously now the writers have hopefully done that, because that could even cause issues between Jax and Ray now.
Totally.
Oh, that's gonna be total conflict. Like it's
Yeah.
allowing them some leeway of like what's gonna happen now because
Between the team
You're gonna have,
themselves.
of course, the Savage. You know, you're going after the Savage,
The Savage.
and then
savage.
he's just the Savage, and then you also have the dynamics of the crew, and that always adds for a really good storyline of like what is going on because you know there's gonna be inner turmoil and kind of back to Rip actually. Where he kind of gave into Rory and was just, showing him what was up. The reason I think he's emotionally turmoil right now is not just because of, he's mad at Rory for, the shortcomings, but as the episode shown throughout all the, little flashbacks, each moment that he hasn't fulfilled his mission, that hurt and
Yes.
of what's happened with his wife and his son Jonas, that just keeps reliving.
Thank you for bringing that back.
And
I
so
forgot
that just,
about that.
it
You're
just
100%
kind of becomes a stronger and stronger thing.
And he's just the way he said, he's like, I don't care that I failed the Talent Masters. Like you said, it really was touching the way he said to his back. He was like, look, I failed my wife and child.
Yeah.
And that is leagues above. I have absolutely no regrets disobeying the Time Masters. I have no regrets failing the Time Masters. I have no regrets failing the Time Council. But failing the love and the promise that I vowed to my wife and children. Like, dude, Arthur Darvill in this one, high five. Again, British acting the whole way forward. Not saying the American isn't as great as well, but it's just always lovely to see that coming from my hometown as well. But speaking of which, I wish, is Wentworth Miller British, by the way?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Guys, look it up for me real quick. I'm going to have to look it up as well. And I should know this. I can't remember if he is or not. I want to say yes, just because I love him that much. But at the same time, I'm not sure if he is. So let us know. But starters, Sarah and Snart. Who's feeling it? Captain Canary? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. None of you want to see this?
I got some nice little taglines for him, but that's it. I don't know if I really want to see it myself. While there's the cold with him and Rory, there's a little kindling fire with Canary. So I don't know. I mean, at least it wasn't like out of the blue, because we've been seeing this.
Wentworth is British. Thank you guys on the YouTube chat. Sorry to interrupt you. Go Wentworth.
But I mean, at least we've been seeing this progress with him and Canary. Like, there's been little tidbits of it here and there. So it wasn't like a super surprise of like, okay, we're cold and we need to like cuddle like we did in high school kind of thing.
100%.
Like, here, let me just wrap my arm around you.
It was a serious time between the two of them, wasn't it?
And they were maybe gonna die.
And they were maybe gonna die. So that was out there.
I think that showed his vulnerability.
That's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
That is what I like the most out of this. Sarah's bringing the best out of Snart, and Snart is bringing the best out of Sarah. And not only that, Sarah brought up Snart and Rory, like Sarah made Snart bring up how Rory saved his ass when he was 14 years old in juvie. So again, beautiful backstory coming from Wentworth Miller right there. Last but not least, before we throw this to a commercial break, Rory and Snart. Is that it? What do you guys think? I know you don't think that's the end of it. I know you might think that's the end of it. Not 100% sure yet.
It'd be a bold move if that is.
Right?
It is bold.
Move.
It is
I'd be surprised, but
I mean,
we didn't see the body. We didn't see things happen. So
you're right though. They've killed off Carter for a while at the moment. So you really think they're going to kill off another member at the team?
Well, I think Carter's going to come back.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Do you think we'll see him next episode?
Maybe not. Well, it would be really cool to see him next episode.
I'd like to see him because they've gone back into the past, and I think that's the only way they'll re-find his reincarnation.
I think it'll be cool to see him because now that Kendra and
Ray
are together, and all of a sudden Carter shows up,
Jax,
and she's gonna all be like, "Oh snap! What do I
do?
do? Who do I pick?" That's
Guys,
what I think.
let us know what you think right now. Is Rory going to survive that with Captain Colden? Is Rory going to survive his imminent death that pretty much happened to him?
Yeah.
When is Carter going to be coming back? And has Kendra made a huge mistake right now because she could possibly turn 3 of the teammates against each other? All these questions and more. When we come... What was you about to say?
Sorry.
No, go, you're fine. Before I throw this, go for it.
Adam is so nice that even if Carter did come back, I'm sure he'd be like, well, that sucks, but okay.
The same thing happened with Felicity
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I think Ray will pull his finger out this time and be like, no, this is my girl. I lost Felicity already. There's no way I'm going to lose Kendra. So that's why I think they're going to do it like that. Guys, have a wee, have a cup of tea. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh, you'd want to take the time travel the whole way back.
How did you not figure that out?
We had a crazy vampire threesome. And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like,
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
look at me, I'm dancing.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is like something.
So we're like, ooh, inseparable.
She was shadier than Sunglass Hut with Ray-Bans on sale, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on.
How did you get here? No.
You just went to a totally different direction on that.
When a billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
Somebody better take some pictures of this, because this looks ridiculous.
She just slapped the crap out of me.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
You can't count anything out.
It's
Been another awesome night at the Stream.tv,
always
guys.
awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Right, guys, welcome back to Legends of Tomorrow After Show. Thank you very much for joining us and keeping through us with that quick break. I made a huge mistake at the top of this episode that got pointed out to me. I didn't introduce the beautiful lady to my left. We like to call her Batgirl, some call her Hawkgirl, no, and some call her Catwoman. Yes. But we know her as Tatiana Mariesa. Tatiana, apologies, I didn't introduce you to everybody.
It's okay.
But everybody, we know you. You're part of the crew. You're the OG.
Am I in?
You're in, yeah.
I'm the OG.
You're OG Lotus now. I mean, you're New Age Lotus.
The noob.
We feel it.
I gotta get some age on this.
So
this
inappropriate. So mean. You are so mean. Guys, before we jump into the fan questions, Twitter questions, live YouTube questions a lot, as always, you should definitely go and join the Facebook group DC Legends of Tomorrow, discussing the TV show. Guys, we're building a great community here between all of the DC shows, and this is an old photo actually here. We're actually at about 8,500, if not 9,000 members now, I believe. Like I said, we're continuously growing, and it gives us a space when we don't have the show throughout the rest of the week to go chat, to spread our rumours, well, not spread rumours, but to share rumours, because rumours are always fun to read, to share news about the show, to pick up on casting, pretty much everything that you need to know about the show is in that Facebook group. And then, of course, when it comes to us pulling fan art, pulling questions, you can join our Facebook group that is the DC Legends of Tomorrow After Show Legends Family. And when you join that group, like I said, you can post questions to get featured on the show, you can post your fan art, theories, comments, and we can dip into that pool of content and bring it out to you guys. Our first audience question, this is from us to you guys. Who was your MVP of this episode? Tatiana? Who is your MVP?
Captain Cold. Always.
Barry.
Wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong show.
Wrong
Stein.
show.
Stein by far.
Yes.
He had this little green beret thing going
Yeah,
on.
that was,
Space Ranger.
that was it.
I was
Stein got
like-
me because of that.
Yeah, I was like Space Ranger. I'm thinking of like Space Rangers, or thinking of Power Rangers in space. Was like where my brain went to. I'm like, all right, Stein.
We can see
I
you
like
there.
what you're doing. This is
Stein
good.
was my MVP as
Yeah,
well.
he was-
Obviously, Rip was my emotional MVP, and he really was the anchor of this episode. But Stein, you're the real MVP this time. Guys, let us know, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, the lot. We want to know who your MVP was of this episode. Now, we're going to throw it over to... Excuse me, guys. We're going to throw it over to a couple Twitter questions. God, I'm losing my speech right now. With Tatiana Mariesa. Tatiana, take it away, honey.
All right, we have a question from Indigo_15. If Snart really did kill Rory, how does that affect him and the rest of the team going forward?
You're right, it's going to affect Snart. If he did
Yeah.
really kill him, could you imagine killing your best friend?
I think he would be forever jaded. I don't think he'd be ever the same.
You know what I'm
This
saying?
whole like hero path that he's going on, and like team, I think it would obliterate.
The only thing is, technically, with it being time travel, this is where things become difficult, because that Mick Rory is dead. It doesn't mean that when they go back in time, or say they end up in like 2018 or like 2014 or 2013, they'll see a Mick Rory from a few years back. So I'm wondering if that's how they're possibly going to bring Mick Rory back into it. Like Snart maybe sees a younger Mick Rory when they're traveling through time, or an older Mick Rory when they're traveling through time, and they
Possibly.
re-recruit a new Mick Rory.
But I don't think he's actually dead.
You still don't think he's
I
actually
still
dead?
don't think he's actually
Cool.
dead.
Guys, what do you think? How do you think Rory's going to come back into this? And do you think if he did die, how is it going to affect Captain Cold, who's becoming a good guy at the moment? He's becoming Citizen Cold, possibly. If you guys don't know who Citizen Cold is, he's the one who becomes good. I just completely lost where I was going with that one. Citizen Cold becomes good. Oh, I've just lost why Citizen Cold becomes good in the DC universe. Because of the JSA. Because they need somebody, that was it, because they want somebody who pretty much has that criminal mindset, and Citizen Cold is the one who has that criminal mindset who helps out the good guys. Jesus, you know when you blank for a second? That was the
Totally, man.
biggest brain fart I've ever had in my life. Guys, question number 2.
Question number. Well, this isn't a
Oh,
question.
this is our fan art. Guys,
This is our
give
fan art.
Stevenson Johns a big shout out
Stevenson
right now. Go
Johns
for it.
is amazing. He drew this.
And
Only
what a-
one of us is
what a-
walking out here alive.
And what a good time to draw it, Stevenson Johns.
Yeah.
You didn't even know what was happening this
I
episode.
know. He just knew to draw this.
awesome.
Guys, if you want to see more of Stevenson John's artwork, by the way, he's absolutely incredible. These little figurines that he makes, you can go buy them on canvases, frames, all different types of things.
I bought.
You got your Catwoman one?
It's not Catwoman,
Batgirl,
Batgirl,
sorry, isn't it?
and I put it on a mug.
You got it?
And I haven't. I ordered it, so it has yet to come to me.
Did you get it from his artpal.com?
Oh, yeah, I got it
okay,
from
cool.
his-
Shout it
from
out.
his
You
website.
give out his website shout
It
out real quick.
is
Artpal.com.
artpal.com.
Yeah, and then / Stevenson Johns.
you go.
Once you guys go into that, you can go and have a look at his whole gallery of work, which is just, like I
Amazing.
said, it's incredible.
It's
Some of the stuff that he draws is so fascinating. They're fun, they're cute, they're scary, they're all different types of things.
When I get my mug, I'll bring it in,
And we'll just be drinking out of
and
your
I'll
mug.
just drink out of my
We
mug.
should have got one for the 3 of us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for the present, Tatiana.
Sorry.
Right, we got another
Next
question,
time.
sweetie?
Next time. Yeah. All right. Would you like to see a new cast in season 2? I'd like to see these minor characters team up.
Do you want to say that so
That
that
was-
humans can hear it, not dogs?
I'm sorry. Was I speaking quietly?
Very.
I had no idea.
Go, read it out
Sometimes I do that.
once more time. because I can't really hear.
Would you like to see a new cast in season 2? I'd like to see these minor characters team up.
Cool. Click that big screen real quick.
Got it.
Nick, can we keep that up real quick just so that they can see? Yeah, just so that you guys can see it there. So I believe we have Booster Gold,
Yeah.
Arrow, Nissa, John Constantine, Wally West, Dr. Light, Vixen, and Pied Piper. I'd like to see Andy Mientis come back into this. Guys, out of those 8 characters that we've seen in both the universes, Nick, you can bring it back to us now. Thanks, buddy. Who would you like to see on it? We'll try and retweak that so that you can get back to that image and you can choose which ones. Who would you like
Didn't
to
we
see?
see like a thing for Booster Gold when Snart took the emerald out of the thing? Wasn't Booster Gold's suit in the background?
No, it looked like it was, but it wasn't. It was
wasn't.
just a reflection
Oh,
because John
okay.
caught that, didn't it? It looked
Yeah,
like there was
and
a
I was like,
reflection of it.
ooh.
No, well,
Okay.
I personally don't think it was. It looked like it was just a reflection of somebody, but John was quite adamant it was. So you guys, if you've seen a Booster Gold reference in Legends so far, make sure you let us know. And that was it for the questions?
Yep.
Guys, like I said, make sure you let us know who you would cast. Season 2, which better come back, because if it doesn't,
It will.
I'm gonna be. You think so?
Oh, yeah.
But think about the budget this film must. Oh, the TV series must cost a fortune.
I'm sure it does, yeah.
So that's why I'm worried about
I think
it.
it has
It's
a-
quite a bit of CG, so I mean, like
You know
that's
what I'm
not
saying?
cheap.
And it's
I
not
think
easy
it's
to
bigger than-
recreate
bigger
either.
than
But
Flash.
always a shout out to the CG guys, Arm and VFX, and Adam's buddy Mark. Absolutely genius, you guys that are designing this show. But for all of us here at the Legends of Tomorrow After Show, that's it for our show today. Thank you always for joining us. As you can see, all of us below, let us know what you think. Like I said, let us know the casting thoughts that you had, whether or not Rory's dead, whether or not Captain Cold's going to be with Captain Canary, which we're totally shipping. That doesn't matter. We're shipping it. It's happening. I said so. Okay, I just love it. I said so. It's happening. We're going to see Ray and Kendra. What do we think is going to happen in the future episodes of Legends of Tomorrow? Guys, from Tatiana, from Rory, from me, from Kellen. I've been mad. I've been mean to our jib guy today, but he's done a wonderful job on the floor for us. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Legends of Tomorrow After Show. Enjoy your weekend, guys.